on Stickross Mountain Road at Russell Willis's garden. He's been growing it for about 3 years now. I guess, Russell, whenever you first started this, there was what, just Bermuda grass growing out here?
Yes, just Bermuda grass.
What made you decide to choose this spot of all the places around here? Just convenient looking area and thought a garden would be there. Well, luckily you're not fighting quite as many rocks as most people in Cherokee County. What did you do to get the Bermuda grass kind of under control? Just dig it up? Or?
I dug it up and sprayed some Roundup.
Sprayed some Roundup, that's a good thing. A lot of times if people have the opportunity to spray before a year or two, you know, they can get the Bermuda grass under control, and so that was a good thing there. And of course you've got a fairly good piece of soil here. It's a little bit you know, tillable and things like that, so I can see how a person would pick this spot. Were the trees quite this big back then, or they leafed out a little bit more?
They've leafed out a little bit more.
That's one thing that you know, during the real hot part of the summer, you like a little bit of shade, or you can tolerate a little bit of shade, but earlier in the spring and then later in the fall, why, you don't want any shade. So probably this could have been in a little bit more sunny spot. But one thing that you can keep in mind too is you can trim these trees back pretty good to get a little bit more sun during the part of the day. And of course, different plants need a different amount of sunlight. You got some peppers growing here and they like full sun all the time. Tomatoes like full sun all the time, primarily from get the dew melted off and things like that from a disease standpoint. But you do have it growing here and you are getting some production, so we'll kind of look at some of that with you and stuff. Of course, cucumbers are another one that like full sunlight, and so I'm surprised that you've got them growing as well as you do right here, because this probably gets sunlight about less than half the day, doesn't it, right here? Right. So, of course, the biggest thing whenever you do a garden like this, and part of the reason why you called INTV and asked them about doing a show, is you have a few problems and you don't really know what might cause them, and of course you didn't pull a soil sample, did you, beforehand? So there's several things that you can do without a soil sample, but at the same time a soil sample is just imperative in some situations. You were telling me that you put a lot of Miracle-Gro on, and that does kind of take care of a balance of nearly everything, so that helps you out. But when it comes to a pH standpoint, you have no idea whether or not that's good or bad. And there's no one that can look at a piece of ground or even look at plants and say, gee, we need to add some lime to this soil. They're just, nobody's that good. And just spindly plants is kind of a result of a lack of proper pH, but that's also a function of poor sunlight. So, you know, you can look here and so that's one thing we're going to do today, is pull a soil sample and kind of run it by and see what the pH of the soil is, as well as other things, and that should let you do something to help this garden out a little bit next year. Well, we pulled a soil sample here, and one thing that I noticed, Russell, when I was doing it, is I didn't get the probe in the ground 2 or 3 inches till it started hitting a hard pan. Now that could be from just it being dry, that could be from the fact that this winter you need to go in there and till it up pretty good, try to get that broke up a little bit. Have you been tilling it, or what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've been using roller tiller.
You got a Troy-Bilt or a rare tine tiller, or what?
Yeah, it's a Troy-Bilt.
You want to keep it pretty well tilled during the winter, and during the winter, while you'll get a little more freezing and thawing a little bit deeper if it's tilled up and it's all stirred and the ground is full of air, as opposed to it sitting there. And I tell people the best thing they can do for their ground is either plant a cover crop in the winter or till it every time that they get a chance in the winter, because the freezing and thawing really helps.
Turnips and mustards?
Well, not so much that as Austrian winter peas or some rye or something like that, you know. Okay. turnips and mustards are okay, they'll grow somewhere, but a green cover crop is something that you're planting just to till back into the soil, just to add to the organic matter. And that's probably what this needs as much as anything, is some organic matter added back to it. But that hard pan is one thing that you know, needs to be taken care of. I don't know, I didn't hit a single rock when I was doing that, and that's almost unheard of in Cherokee County. You wouldn't want to till it up and rip it up or something and get into a bunch of rock, but at the same time, when you can't get a probe into a garden any more than a couple of inches, it's hard for the moisture to get in, and it's hard for the plant roots to move around and grow and stuff. So, you know, that's going to need to be taken care of, and so planting the cover crop would probably be a real good idea. We'll take this soil sample back and run it and see what it has to say. But primarily the biggest thing is going to be whether or not you've got a problem with pH or not.
Okay.
The rest of it is can be easily taken care of in a short period of time. You want to get, and we did, about 12 samples from different areas and bring about a pint into the extension office, and then we can send that off for you.